What's up, guys? This is Daniel with the Midnight Movie Trash Podcast, episode 2. Very long overdue after the first one. Was trying to think of what direction I wanted to go with the podcast. But overall, I think I'm just going to do it myself, have a couple guests come in, to do some talking. Anything from horror to exploitation to action films. Ranging from, 60s, 70s, all the way to current stuff, which this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie The Prodigy. I was able to attend a pre-screening here in San Antonio for the movie earlier this week, which came out this week. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about the new Child's Play trailer, my thoughts on it, and touch a little bit on the Pet Cemetary. So, with that being said, go into a kind of a quick movie review of The Prodigy. It was interesting to say the least. It was a very, very unique take on, I guess, a possession-style film, being that, there's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, I do apologize. You may want to skip forward. But the premise of the movie is a very intelligent child being born, and the beginning of the movie was a little odd to me. There's a woman breaking out of a room, running naked out of a field, missing a hand. Like, oh, what the hell? So, she gets rescued, and then we cut to a young family, pregnant wife talking to her husband, and talking about the baby, and next thing you know, we get SWAT invading the house of where the young woman was captive. So, sitting there and watching it, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Well, we cut to the family, and she's in the bathtub, and she's starting to feel the baby coming. So, we're getting cutscenes back and forth between the lady, the baby, and the SWAT team. So, long story short, the captive, guy, kidnapper, comes out butt ass naked and gets killed by, the SWAT team coming in, while the moment of birth of the child was the moment of death of that, serial killer. So I kind of got the idea where it was going, and I was pretty spot on. So, we cut to, the child growing, his intelligence, leaps and bounds, speaking words way before a normal child. And, the mom laying in bed talking about reading books about her gifted child, raising a gifted child. Well, he is gifted, very intelligent, but you start to see the lack of social skills, the lack of interaction with another child. He wasn't normal in that aspect. Very lonerish, very, not what a normal child would be, So the mom starts taking notice. They put him in special schools and whatnot for the gifted, and the age from birth to the age of 8, is very rapid in the film, and that's the key point. The year of his 8th year, and it has a major part in the story. So we start to see throughout the growth progression of the child, him talking in weird languages, through the baby monitor while the parents are asleep, and, standing up, looking like he's chanting, and, really weird shit for a child to be doing. And of course, the mom has no idea what's going on. And, one day he goes and tells his father that he wants paprika on his chicken. And, the dad's like, well, where'd you learn paprika? He's like, I don't know, I just want it. So, there's odd behavior changes. And one night, of the mom just hears a sound and wakes up and, goes and checks on her child. And he's literally there talking in his sleep in a foreign language. I thought he was, my first thought was, oh, he's demonic language, or he's conjuring up demons, or, some typical, this era of Hollywood shit is all about possession and all about, demonic shit and whatnot, which I'm really, really, really tired, on a side note, of that stuff. Like, bring back the slashers, bring back the, all that good stuff. Well, anyways, so the mom has, there's a conveniently there's a little tape recorder there, so she goes and records the son talking, and for a good few minutes she gets him on tape, and then he wakes up and is totally oblivious to what's going on. And she tells him, oh, you're having a bad dream. No, it was a good dream. He was like, well, it sounded like you were having a nightmare. Well, so that stays like that. So she, the Miles is the name of the child. He has an altercation at school. He's very antisocial, and then one day he decides he wants to have this one young child, little girl, as his lab partner. And he goes and tells the other lab partner, well, I want to be with so-and-so. He was like, we already picked our teams. So, he gives him that look, like, I'm like, oh shit, something bad's about to happen. So, sure enough, he asks to be excused to the bathroom. Well, he goes to the janitor's closet and grabs a damn pipe wrench. Walks back all nonchalant and all cool, and beats the living crap out of this kid with a pipe wrench. So we cut to the mom taking him to a doctor, psychologist, and she's there giving him that test with the blobs on the paper, and he's like, those are hands, those are hands. And it all revolves, around hands. Oh, excuse my dog over here. So, what you call it, he goes on to, do the test, and the mom talks to the doctor and says like, hey, what you call it, he's very intelligent. I couldn't give you an actual score of his intelligence. And, she goes, I really can't do nothing for him. That was kind of out of her league to handle that kind of situation. So the mom, in desperation, plays the audio. She recorded it, and sure enough, it leaves her a little puzzled. And she goes, well, let me talk to a colleague of mine. So sure enough, the colleague brings the mom in and explains the scenario of the language. She's like, it's just gibberish. And the doctor goes, no, it's not gibberish. It's a ancient dialect from a forgot what is Ukrainian village, some Russian country. And she was like, no, it can't be. It's just him, speaking gibberish. Nope. And then she goes, and what it means is, he says, you're gonna die, you fucking bitch. something of that nature. I don't remember the exact words, but it was very, very troubling, and again, sorry for the dog. But so yeah, sorry about that. Dog's being a little anxious due to the weather being not so great. So back to the doctor's analysis. He tells her that, did anybody in the family know that kind of language or speak of, that dialect? And of course it wasn't. So he goes on to tell her the theory of the premise of the base of the possession is that he shows her videos of a child that, showed that he was an old soul, and he would talk about past memories of of a previous life, basically reincarnation. And it's very, what you call it, she doesn't believe him, but the video that she shows him is very convincing. So she walks out of there not believing in this mumbo jumbo whatnot, but it left her it leaves her very troubled, and not the story that was told to her was a story, not a video. He gives her a DVD when she leaves, to watch, and sure enough, she starts noticing things with the kid, and she goes upstairs and watches the video and freaks out. So she really believes that he may be onto something, and she schedules another appointment to meet the kid. And this is where it gets very twisted. The night, a little bit prior to meeting the doctor, she wakes up and finds the kid standing in the hallway staring out the window. And she's calling out to her son Miles, and next thing you know, the child lunges towards her running, and when he gets to her, she doesn't see her child. She sees the man that's possessed serial killer. This was one of a few jump scares in the film, which basically made up the entire scariness of the film. It relied heavily on jump scares, and the theater lost their shit during that one. And so she's afraid, and she asks, the Miles asks, "Can I sleep with you, mommy?" Because the night before, the mom and father had a very bad argument, and he decided to go cool off and stay with a brother or something of that nature. Well, what you call it, he touches her really weird and asks her, "Will you always love me, mommy, no matter what I do?" And it was that way it was said that really was creepy. Well, he goes and sees the doctor, and the doctor uses hypnosis to bring out the other person. And when it happens, the guy, the serial killer, basically breaks down the scenario of prescription drugs that he has in his bathroom, because it's his practices in his house. And he was like, basically, I'm going to take these pills. I'm gonna say that you molested me. In detail, he tells him, I picked up pubic hair from your toilet seat. He's like, and I'm going to say that you put your cock in my mouth. Really fucking twisted and dark shit. If you don't tell my mother that you were wrong, that there's nothing wrong with me. And, the doctor's sitting there, freaking out. So he tells her, oh no, it was my mistake. Your child's fine. Well, the thing he did say, before meeting the second time is they always come back to fulfill something left unfinished. So she goes, if you can figure out what they're coming back for, you'll be able to let him finish and get your son back. But time's ticking, because every case that he knew of past of the age of 8, the old soul takes over the child and basically becomes the possessing soul. So she still notices that things are not right with the kid, and the doctor notices that during the hypnosis, the kid carved his name, the name of the person possessing him, into the leather couch, and calls and tells him he researches and finds out that he was a serial killer that had a fetish of taking women's hands, so hence the hands during the blob. It's like, what does this look like? So it's, he calls and tells him, hey, find a place where you're not near Miles, look up the name, and that's who's possessing him. So the father comes back, and while this is going on, the child would say, that he would leave his body and that he would do things that was not him. It was, he doesn't know who it was. Well, he kills the family dog, and it was bad. So the father comes back to find where he had killed the dog. The mom found it because the flies started accumulating in the house, and it was really bad. But it's it goes a lot faster from here. She tries to send him away to a state hospital. While doing so, they come up with a plan that doesn't work. The dad's gonna go pick up the kid to get him out of school early, and on the way home, the child realizes what's going on because the dad starts telling him, hey, we're going to send you to a place where you can get help, and basically spills the beans. Well, the entity possessing him, in him, is not pleased with that and pulls out hedge clippers, those same ones he used to kill the dog, and stabs his father in the side while he's driving, causing this massive accident. So the wife goes to the hospital, sees him, freaks out, grabs her child, takes him home because the father's in induced coma due to swelling of the brain, and all this really fun stuff, from the accident. Well, while that was going on, the mom noticed that in his closet a board was loose, and she moves it, only to find the book written by the survivor of the serial killer, with detailed maps on how to find her house, drawings of him murdering her and cutting hands, and hands, yet again, hands play another big role. Well, she decides that she's going to end it and takes him to the house, and she's going to try to kill, the lady, which backfires, and we get the end of the movie pretty much where, and it was a really twist at the end. You know, he winds up killing the girl that he was set out to kill. The mom, he takes off running. Well, into, it's like a farm. Well, the mom chases him, with the revolver, catches him in a field, and she's pointing the gun at him. And right, you hear the gunshot, and you think she smoked him. No, a rancher kills the mom, leaving Miles, unscathed, unharmed. It goes, from then it goes on to him being in a foster family till his father recuperates from the accident, and it's game over for the movie. But it was a very unique concept of possession, and I'm glad they didn't go with the typical demonic possession. Like I said, to me, it's getting a little played out. Everything is like, oh, so and so's possessed, this and that. But I mean, the child actor, I forgot his name, who plays Mal, did an incredible job for that kind of complex role. At such a young age, that kid nailed it out of the park. That kid is gonna have I feel is gonna have a good future in film. He plays the creepy kid very well, and the innocent kid. He did it. He had to do best of both worlds. It's one to check out. As a horror movie fan, I always give a movie a watch. I can sit here and read reviews and hear that it's gonna blow balls, and I'm still gonna watch it. So I highly suggest, checking it out, making the judgment for yourself. So that was the Prodigy. And this upcoming, actually tomorrow, I'm filming this, on the 10th. So tomorrow's the 11th. I'm gonna go see Happy Death Day 2 screener tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I liked the first one. It was another unique concept of for a film, and it's basically following the same story premises. Just now, it's gonna be the main girl, the guy that she wakes up to, and his roommate are the ones that are being, hunted by the babyface killer. So it should be interesting, And to close out, I'm really looking forward to Pet Cemetery. At first I was like, don't know, but seeing the trailer for it, I'm not gonna break down the trailer, but it's got a creepy vibe to it. It's got a really good cinematic feel to it in my eyes. So I'm gonna give it a watch when it comes out. I am looking forward to that one. Now, Child's Play, I don't know. That's a really hard one to reboot. I don't know what the storyline is. So far, if it's gonna be the same thing, but I don't like the way Chucky looks. It just doesn't look scary. It looks too CGI, too But I did like the fact that they casted Audrey Plaza as the mom. That was kind of a unique little casting. She's not known for being a mom. She's known for being a party girl, and a really, really sarcastic chick. And to see her play something like this, I'm intrigued, to say the least. I do like her work. What you call it. So you know, as far as the whole, why did they change Chucky's toy from the good guy to Buddy? It's like, to me that doesn't, I don't know, it just, when you grew up, like I grew up, when Chucky came out, I'm a child of the 80s, the sequels in the 90s, it's hard to see that redone. I'm not a fan of reboots, remakes. I mean, I'd rather have them just do a continuation than have them completely reboot it. One reboot that I will say that I did enjoy was, the Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead was really damn good. It was done very well. It did, to me, it did justice to the Romero, classic, because that is one of my top favorite zombie films is Dawn of the Dead, and that it did it complete justice. I did also enjoy the Friday the 13th reboot. That wasn't bad. Also, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one was, one that I thoroughly enjoyed. Also, it was pretty brutal. It was good. What you call it? In full disclosure, I've never truly watched the Nightmare on Elm Street one. I just couldn't do it. I was like, no, that one. It's like no, don't mess with Freddy. Because no one's gonna play Freddy like Robert Englund. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on these things. By no means am I a movie expert or anything. This is just my take. That's my disclosure. This is just my opinion. What you call it? What can I say? That's just my review on it. I do say go out and check out the Prodigy. Also, and other news type deal, I will be attending Texas Frightmare. The first weekend of May here in Texas. So I'm going to try to get some possibly audio interviews with. I'm going to shoot for Felissa Rose. I've interviewed her in the past, talked with her. She's an awesome person. So I'm going to see if I can get a quick, couple minutes with her for the podcast. Also, I am a partner at, co-owner of Drop the Spotlight, so going to do a lot of coverage. That's the main thing. We're going to do press for that. But, I'm going to try to get a little something for the Midnight Movie Trash podcast and YouTube channel, which, I do need to focus more on content creation there, which will be coming. I have another stack of VHS that I've picked up, and some Blu-rays and some DVDs and a few horror collectibles. So, yeah. Till next time, this is Daniel with Midnight Movie Trash Podcast. See ya.